read Srila Prabhupada's books profusely for 4 hours every day. As a result of his deep study of Srila Prabhupada's books, today Devamrita Swami Maharaj is one of the most esteemed personalities in ISKCON. Maharaj personally assisted Srila Prabhupada's book production, Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, as a copy editor and later as a chief manager. Maharaj has dedicated his life since last 50 years, serving in various roles such as a GBC and initiating a spiritual master. Maharaj is renowned for his seminars and scholarly presentations. Maharaj is an author of various books, Searching for Vedic India, Perfect Escape, Bhakti Bhav, and Hiding in Unnatural Happiness, which has sold over 6 lakh copies worldwide. Maharaj's book Perfect Escape is available at ISKCON NOIDA. Interested devotees can purchase a copy from Holiness Prabhu. If time allows, we'll request Maharaj to kindly autograph his books. ISKCON NOIDA is humbled to host His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj. This morning, Maharaj gave the morning Bhagavatam lecture on the story of Krishna and the Kaliya snake demon. This evening, Maharaj is again present to bestow his mercy on us all through a seminar on the topic What Sri Gauranga means for your life. So my dear fellow devotees, let us open our hearts and minds to the Maharaj. Please turn on your phone and your children on silent. Keep all distractions outside so that Maharaj's words can reach inside. Thank you so much, respected Maharaj. Over to you.
Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Go Premanandi. Om Agana Chimarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militang Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We're going to speak from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, which, as many of you know, is the postgraduate study. First, there's Bhagavad Gita, which introduces you to Krishna. And then there is Srimad Bhagavatam, which describes Krishna and his activities. So Bhagavatam is the graduate study. But Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is postgraduate study. There you learn the science of Krishna's loving pastimes. Krishna Tattva, Radha Tattva, Radha Krishna Tattva. We'll look at the third chapter of Adi Leela, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, which, as many of you know, the title means the characteristics of the eternal living force. Unless you understand the activities of the spirit, soul, in perfection, how will we be attracted to leave the material energy behind? So we should be progressive in our spiritual life. We should understand that the goal is to love Krishna. How do you achieve that goal? This is what Lord Chaitanya appeared to give. When you're offering your food, you say the prayer, Namo Mahabharanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. You're offering your obeisances to that incarnation of Krishna who has given what none other has given, the opportunity to develop pure love of Krishna. Strictly speaking, as I often explain, Lord Chaitanya is not an incarnation. How many of you know that? Very few. Lord Chaitanya is Swayam Bhagavan, just as Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. How can that be? Shouldn't there only be one Swayam Bhagavan? But that original personality of Godhead appears as Krishna and appears as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As I often point out, when Krishna wants to taste love of himself, he appears as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to be the supreme enjoyer, he appears as Krishna. Lord Chaitanya is Radha Krishna combined. Said another way, Lord Chaitanya is the exchange of love. He's Krishna taking the position of Srimati Radharani to understand what's it like to be her in her love for Krishna. What's it like? Not only does he want to understand the position of Srimati Radharani, the glory of her love, he also wants to know what is the sweetness in him that Srimati Radharani is tasting. Furthermore, he wants to know the happiness she's feeling in loving him. He cannot do this as Krishna. He can't understand these three things. The pinnacle of the highest love cannot be understood by Krishna as Krishna. So he comes as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna taking on the emotions and complexion of Srimati Radharani. This is why Lord Chaitanya is golden. He's Krishna saturated with the emotions of Srimati Radharani, so much so that blackish blue Krishna turns golden because Lord Chaitanya is the combination of Radha and Krishna. I often point out that in India there's so much confusion about Krishna. In the West there's not so much confusion because no one knows anything about Krishna. But if you ask someone in India something about Krishna, if you try to tell them something about Krishna, what do they usually say? I'm knowing. I know all about Krishna. But as you know, 9 times out of 10, their knowledge is perverted, distorted, corrupted. They don't know Krishna. Why is that? It's because they are not approaching Krishna through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this age of Kali, it is very difficult to understand Krishna, practically impossible to understand him without going through Lord Chaitanya. So this is why in ISKCON we glorify Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In some parts of India, especially Bengal, they may think Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a Bengali saint. But when we look at Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, we find out the truth of Lord Chaitanya's identity. What does that mean for us? What does that do for us? Everyone can understand Krishna Janmashtami. But what about Gaur Purnima, which is soon upon us? What does Sri Gauranga mean to you? The fact that you are here right now is evidence of Lord Chaitanya's mercy. In Bhagavad Gita, what does Krishna say? Manushanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye. Out of thousands, lakhs upon lakhs of persons, only one may be trying for perfection. And out of those very few who are trying for perfection, one may actually achieve perfection in terms of Brahman realization. But out of those very few, only one knows Krishna in truth. Kaschin mam veti tattvataha. So you have to ask yourself the question, how is it that you're in that rare position, the most rare position of having the capacity, the facility to know Krishna in truth? Why you? So you are here because of the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Otherwise, impossible. So let us not take our situation for granted. Because of Lord Chaitanya, we are an exception to the rule. Don't you know that Krishna is very strict? How many of you know that? What does he say in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita? Who knows? Huh? Before that. Much before that. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Nasochati Nakangshati Samat Sarveshu Bhuteshu Madbhaktim Labhate. Krishna says, first, come to the Brahma Bhuta platform. Understand yourself as Brahman, totally on the spiritual platform. And then, Prasanatma, you'll be joyful. Not simply materially joyful, but spiritually joyful. And Nasochati Nakangshati, no more lamenting materially. No more material happiness pursuits. Samat sarveshu bhuteshu. You see all living entities as equal. Never mind their bodily form, color, type, species. So Krishna concludes saying, when you've got these qualifications, then you can begin devotional service. So how many of you had those qualifications before beginning devotional service? Raise your hand. Who had all those qualifications? No one. I certainly didn't. The announcer said I was born in the vibrant city of New York. Vibrant with what? All right. Very prestigious education, but did I ever learn anything about Krishna? As the announcer said, so many U.S. presidents came from that university. Currently, what is it? Mr. Vance and Mrs. Vance, they're also Yale. But do they know anything about Krishna? So Krishna is very strict. You can begin devotional service if you have those qualifications. So why is it we are here? It's because Krishna, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, breaks all of Krishna's rules about who is eligible, who's an eligible candidate for devotional service. So yes, further in the 18th chapter, Krishna says, Sarvadharma Prachaja. Abandon all your conceptions of dharma and surrender to me. Accept my dharma. But who is doing that? Krishna himself noted after his appearance 5,000 years ago, he noted, no one's doing what I said. They're not surrendering. So that same Krishna comes and demonstrates as a devotee how to surrender to Krishna. Krishna, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, gives Krishna away, whereas Krishna is very strict. I often give the example of a sweet shop. I don't know if your sweet shop in the temple operates this way, but when I first went to Vrindavan in 1977, and I went to Lowy Bazaar. How many have been to Lowy Bazaar in Vrindavan? Everyone. So the sweet shop owners, they would be calling you, Prabhu, Prabhu, come, 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 come. And this is the first time so many devotees from the West were going to Vrindavan, so they didn't know. The sweet shop owners, come, come, holding out a sweet. So you go to his shop, to the front, and please, Prabhu, sit down, sit down, sit down. And he gives you a sweet. So the devotee is thinking, I got a free sweet. They didn't understand that you got something free, now you're supposed to buy something. They just thought free is free. Generally, the sweet shop owners would have pictures of Prabhupada on the wall, and they would point. So what they were doing is getting you to taste first and then later talk about payment. That is how Lord Chaitanya, who is Krishna himself, that's how Krishna as Lord Chaitanya operates. First taste, and then later we talk about the requirements. Whereas Krishna says, no deal until you sign on the dotted line. No deal until you agree to surrender completely. Then we can talk about taste. But Krishna as Lord Chaitanya says, first and then later we talk business. You see the difference? First, you taste the nectar of Krishna consciousness, of bhakti. You'll find it's very nice. And then later we talk about the payment. Chanting the rounds, following the 4 rules. But first, just taste it. Taste love of Krishna. Even the neophyte, even the beginning devotee is actually tasting love of Krishna. You just don't have full realization of what is in your hand. It's like if you put a diamond in the hand of a 4-year-old child, what will the child probably do with it? Put it in the mouth, throw it away. But still, the fact is the child has a diamond, right? But the child has no realization. So similarly, in the beginning stages of bhakti, we have the greatest opportunity, but we may not realize it more than the slight understanding. But still we have the opportunity. We have the greatest wealth. You know the example Prabhupada would always give about the unripe mango. Whether unripe mango or ripe mango, both are mangoes. What's the difference? In the unripe mango, the taste is not fully developed. But if you leave the unripe mango in the sun, it'll become ripe. It's just a matter of time. So even the neophyte has the greatest opportunity, the greatest potential. You may say, oh, how could I? It is possible because of Lord Chaitanya's mercy, who gives Krishna away. Even when no one knows who is Krishna, still they're tasting devotional service. They don't know who is Krishna, but they're tasting attraction for Krishna. This is the work of Krishna as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when Krishna came 5,000 years ago, of course, Krishna is always present in his unmanifest Leela, eternally going on in the topmost planet of the spiritual world. But once every day of Brahma, as you know, Krishna manifests his Bom Leela, his earthly pastimes in Vrindavan, Mathura, Dwarka. Krishna displays his pastimes, his sporting as a youth, his friends, his lovers, his parents. He displays all this to attract you. This is Krishna's program for rectifying the conditioned souls. He presents to them his pastimes, which capture the mind. We all pray for increased attraction to Krishna's pastimes. We never want to feel that we've heard enough about Krishna, we know enough about Krishna. So Krishna displays his Braj Leela, Mathura Leela, Dwarka Leela, and then he unmanifests. Not that he's finished or he finishes himself, but he finishes his visibility to the conditioned souls. Just like the sun is gone now. Does that mean the sun is finished? It's just out of our sight. Somewhere else the sun is shining. The sun hasn't changed. It's just out of our vision. So Krishna displays his pastimes to attract you. People talk about God. Not so many, but those who talk about God, they have no idea what does God do? What does he look like? What are his qualities? Who are his associates? No idea. So, in parts of the world where people claim to be religious, they have some official idea of God. Some superficial idea, which is something. We give them credit for something. But in-depth, comprehensive, profound knowledge of the science of God is so much lacking in the material world. So even though Krishna has come and shown his pastimes, people still don't understand Krishna. So Krishna is thinking to himself, and we'll read from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yateshta vihari Krishna kore antardan. Antardan kore mane kore anuman. Lord Krishna enjoys his transcendental pastimes as long as he wishes, and then he disappears. After disappearing, however, he thinks thus. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is such a highly authorized devotee that in Chaitanya Charitamrita he can tell you Krishna's thinking process. What do you say about that? After disappearing, Krishna thinks this way. Chirakala nahi kore prema bhakti dan. Bhakti vina jagater nahi avastan. For a long time I have not bestowed unalloyed loving service to me upon the inhabitants of the world. Without such loving attachment, the existence of the material world is useless. So this is Krishna revealing his thoughts. I've demonstrated my loving pastimes, but I haven't distributed the taste of love. I've shown my loving pastimes, yes, but I haven't given out the flavor. This is what Lord Chaitanya does. He's giving the flavor of loving Krishna. So Krishna, thinking to himself, says, without such loving attachment, without prema bhakti, what's the use of the material world? And what do we say? Oh, there's so many other purposes of the material world. You must make money, you must establish your family, have some investment properties, climb the corporate ladder, equip your children with material opportunities. So much to do. Why say that it's all useless? But Krishna is looking at his material world and saying, unless there is prema bhakti, the whole material world is useless. So shall we argue with Krishna? Wait a minute. So many important things we have to do. So many higher priorities. But Krishna says, Without the existence of prema bhakti, the loving attachment, the existence of the material world is useless. So now we are getting insight into the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna displays the loving pastimes, and then Krishna, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, distributes the flavor of those pastimes. So one displays, the other distributes. What Lord Chaitanya is giving can only be given by Krishna himself. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he comes to give what only Krishna can do. Only Krishna can give such confidential knowledge and flavors. So Krishna does that as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And because of the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, we are here, even though ordinarily it would be impossible. Where is our punya? Where are the pious activities we did for countless lifetimes? Non-existent. Where is the jnana, the metaphysical speculation, knowledge of Brahman? We didn't have it. Where is the mystic yoga? We didn't have it. Yet we are having this opportunity to love Krishna. And we cannot say that we don't know anything about love. The whole material world is about perverted love of Krishna. Like when you have milk and it becomes sour. So material attachment is love of Krishna gone bad. So the material world is a manifestation of perverted love of Krishna. So we're trying to find that love through family, society. We cannot say we're not interested in love. Everyone wants to love and be loved. Even those who say, I just do my duty, that's all. Still, in the core of their heart, they want love and they want to be loved. They want to love and they want to be loved. So Krishna addresses that number one problem directly. I, Krishna says, will teach you the love supreme, how to love in perfection. But Krishna does that. He distributes that not as Krishna, but as Sri Krishna Chaitanya. So we are in a very rare situation. 5,000 years or so after the appearance of Krishna, 500 years or so after the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we should become fully aware of what they're giving. One is displaying the Leela, the other is distributing the flavor of the Leela. I often remind devotees of Srila Prabhupada giving the shortest lecture he ever gave. He was in Atlanta, at the temple in Atlanta in 1975. I was seated right in front of him. And instead of singing Jai Radha Madhava before class, he sang Parama Karuna Pahundwijana Nitai Gora Chandra. Because they had Gauranga deities at that time in the Atlanta temple, not Radha Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada sang, Parama Karuna, extremely merciful. These two, Nitai Gaura Chandra. Sabha Avatar, they're the essence of all avatars. Generally speaking, you say they're avatars. Actually, they are Gauranga is the original personality of Godhead, and Nityananda is his first expansion. But generally speaking, you say avatar, although it's not the most precise way to refer to Lord Chaitanya. Sabha avatar sar shiromani, kevala ananda kanda. They're the essence of all avatars. And what are they doing? They're distributing Ananda Kanda, the path of pure bliss. Bhaja Bhaja Bhai, Chaitanya Nitai. My dear brother, just worship Gauranga, worship Nityananda. Vishaya Chadiya say Majaya Mukhe Bolo Hari Hari. That's the deal. Once you taste a little bit of what Gauranga Nitai are giving, then you sign on the dotted line. Okay, I give up my sinful activities, my material sense gratification. And then I can go on. Mukhe Bolo Hari Hari. I can go on with the Hari Hari. But first, taste. So this is the whole purpose of our outreach. Give people the taste. Let them agree. This is very nice. And then you finalize the deal after they taste. But remember, Krishna doesn't do that. Krishna is very strict. But Lord Chaitanya goes much deeper than giving rituals, giving reverence to God. The world could certainly use more awe and reverence to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Oh God, how great you are. You are the Almighty. You are the Omniscient. You are the All-Pervading. The world could use so much of that kind of knowledge. But Lord Chaitanya gives much more than that. He wants to give the taste of spontaneous love for Krishna, in which the associates of Krishna in Vrindavan don't think he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They think he's our best friend, he's our child, he's our lover. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, you find out that Krishna has different levels of being appreciated. He himself says, if you want me to become subservient to your love, just like Krishna submits to Mother Yashoda's trying to bind him with a rope. If you want me to become subservient to your love has to be free from awe and reverence. It can't just be devotional service by regulation, in which you serve Krishna under injunction. You must do like this. You must do like that. I was explaining the other day at the home of the Madhuryas. Prabhupada's capsule definition of sadhana bhakti. How many of you here practice sadhana bhakti? Raise your hand. So Srila Prabhupada said, I was explaining a few nights ago, or was it last night? Sadhana bhakti, he said, means you have to do it because I say. Because some devotees were asking that I'm just doing out of commitment, out of duty. So I explained that's very good. It's not the everything, but it's a necessary beginning. Just like in an arranged marriage, I gave that example. You all know better than I. In the beginning, There's not the spontaneous attraction. But because your parents have arranged, you agree. All right, all right. I was explaining how in the Western world, people think this is abominable. How can you marry just because your parents select someone? What do they have to do with your life? It's your own personal decision. I was explaining how in Adelaide, Australia, I was speaking to a group of Indian students who were studying for their graduate degrees in Adelaide. And so they had started their bhakti. It's amazing. They all come to Australia not looking for Krishna. They knew nothing or did nothing about Krishna while they're in India. Then they go overseas and they become Krishnaized. So I was asking these young men, it's very nice. Now you're chanting Hare Krishna. You're coming to the temple. You're reading Prabhupada's books. How old are you? They said, 26, 27. So I asked, so what comes next? And they all said, well, our parents are looking for someone for us to marry. They all say like that. Now, when a Westerner hears that, he thinks this is barbaric. This is uncivilized. What do the parents have to do with your romance? They have nothing to do with it. Even you may love your parents. Or in the West, it's more proper to say, even you may love your parent. Because half the persons don't live with two parents. So, all right, I love my parent or parents, but when it comes to who I marry, that's my affair. They have nothing to do with it. And the parents themselves will say, we don't want anything to do with it. It's your choice. Be happy your own way. But in India, even today, people are understanding. My parents have loved me and cared for me so much. I respect their choice. I respect their wisdom. And you reciprocate. And even though you don't know the person fully when you marry, based on duty and commitment, gradually real attraction develops. Even in the beginning, things may be a bit rocky. But gradually the road becomes smoother because of duty and commitment producing real attachment. So sadhana bhakti is like that. We shouldn't minimize the value of devotional service done out of duty and commitment. First is the therapeutic stage, in which you take your therapy because the doctor orders. Just as Prabhupada said, sadhana bhakti means you do it because I say you must. But that is not the only stage. And this is why Chaitanya Charitamrita is so important. It's introducing you to spontaneous love of Krishna. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita is explaining that Krishna accepts devotional service done out of duty and commitment, but he much more prefers devotional service done out of spontaneous attraction. I just love to engage in devotional service, to hear about Krishna, to chant about Krishna. As third canto Bhagavatam says, just like the Ganga is flowing toward the ocean, similarly, my attraction for Krishna is flowing naturally like that. This is what Krishna relishes the most. This is the kind of love, loving devotional service that conquers Krishna. This is what he wants. So you read about this in Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Krishna says, love for me, devotional service for me that is made feeble, made weak by duty and obligation, can't conquer me. But that devotional service that has rag, attraction, that's what Krishna wants to become subordinate to. Mother Yashoda doesn't think Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She thinks, that's my son. This is the way Krishna wants it. I don't want her thinking I'm God. So Chaitanya Charitamrita is revealing that very confidential knowledge, how Krishna loves it more than the Vedic hymns. He loves to be chastised by his girlfriends. You're a cheat. He loves that better than the greatest official Vedic hymns of praise. So Lord Chaitanya is giving this. He's not simply giving sadhana bhakti. He's giving the knowledge, the ways, the means, and the example how to love Krishna spontaneously. What's a good example of spontaneous attraction? You can read in Nectar of Devotion. This is the first prayer I learned as a young devotee, age 22. My dear Lord, I know young boys have attraction for young girls, and young girls have attraction for young boys. I'm simply praying to you, Krishna, that my mind may be attracted to you in the same spontaneous way. What do you think? That was the first prayer I learned. Very good prayer for a 22-year-old. Good for anyone of any age. May my mind be attracted to you in the same spontaneous way. Just like you take some iron powder and you put it near a magnet. What happens? Is it duty? Is it obligation? No, the iron powder just flows toward the magnet. So this is what we pray our attraction for Krishna will be like. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving that opportunity. He's saying, taste it and strive for more. Only Krishna can give this. And he gives it as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Of course, there is the Yuga Dharma. What is the Yuga Dharma? Who knows? Yes. What happened was the time for the Yuga Dharma coincided with Krishna's desire to personally appear. The Yuga Dharma work is done by Vishnu, who's within Krishna. But Krishna decided, I want to come and give out pure love of myself. That mission coincided with the Yuga Dharma. This doesn't mean the Yuga Dharma is not important. But what you see when you read Chaitanya Charitamrita is that Krishna is doing several things at once. Because he contains Vishnu. Vishnu's the maintainer. Yuga Dharma is maintenance work. Establishing the Dharma for the age. That's maintenance. Not the work of Krishna personally. But the two purposes coincided. They came together. So therefore, in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, he spreads the Yuga Dharma while at the same time giving knowledge of the most intimate love of Krishna. So in this way, we are so indebted to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we're longing for knowledge of Gauranga. Is the book Teachings of Lord Chaitanya available in your bookshop? That's a very beautiful book to introduce you to the instructions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then you can aspire for the whole set of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So you might say, we are so busy, we have no time for all this literature. Some or other, arrange your life so that at some point, some phase, some time in your life, you'll have the opportunity for reading such unsurpassable literature. So remember, Krishna displays his loving pastimes, his Braj Leela. That same Krishna comes as Lord Chaitanya and distributes the flavors of those Leelas to the most unqualified persons. No one knows who is Krishna, but Gauranga is giving out the taste of love of Krishna. How do you love someone you don't know? But Gauranga is giving out the flavor of someone that you don't know. But he's saying, take the flavor of love of this person. You don't know that person, but taste the flavor of the love. This is inconceivable. So inconceivable that when Srila Prabhupada was speaking in Atlanta in his shortest lecture, the lecture lasted 1.5 minutes. He started saying, no one knows Krishna, yet Gaur Nitai are giving out love of Krishna to even persons who don't know him. And then his voice began to crack. He said, just take shelter of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and be happy. And I saw the tears shoot from his eyes like shot from a syringe as his voice was cracking. And then he just got off the Vyasasan and left after 1.5 minutes. Went to his room and never talked about it. That he was demonstrating ecstatic symptoms as described in Nectar of Devotion. So I hope you've gotten some vision of how knowledge of Gauranga Mahaprabhu is so important for you. Any questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj ji. How other sampradayas are doing this Bhava Bhakti? Other sampradaya. Yeah, other sampradaya like Sri Sampradaya, Kumar Sampradaya, Rudy Sampradaya. They are not worshipping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but how they are doing the Bhava Bhakti?
No one is giving what Lord Chaitanya gave. Without that gift of Lord Chaitanya, because he's Radha Krishna combined. Of course, we could talk about deeper gifts that Lord Chaitanya has given. Love of Krishna and separation. He's given the taste of that. This is all very unique. There are different levels. I hope you can understand that from the talk I've given tonight. There are different levels. Throughout the world, you may find some official knowledge of love of God. God is great. God is good. When I was a little boy, we were taught to say a prayer before eating food. Christian home. Just like you say, Sharira Vijajal Jatandriya Tahika. We were taught in a Christian home. God is great, God is good, and we thank him for our food. By his hand we all are fed. Give us, Lord, our daily bread. So there is some knowledge in that. But Gauranga Mahaprabhu has come to give much more. Why should God simply be your order supplier? Why don't you fulfill the desires of God as his parent, as his lover, as his friend? Where are you going to get that kind of knowledge? This is what Gauranga Mahaprabhu is giving. So there are different levels. Fortunately, you are in position to get the highest level. So that there are different levels doesn't mean you criticize others. Just like there are different levels of learning institutions. I know in India, the parents, when they want to send their children overseas to university, they pay close attention to the rankings. So there are rankings in connection to Krishna. And Lord Chaitanya came to give the most, there are different levels of the knowledge, the intimacy, the confidentiality. There's
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dhanavad Pranam. Maharaj, my question is, how do we bring mercy of Lord Gauranga in our life? Because he's giving so much to us, but we don't have taste in Harinam, nor do we have taste in reading the scripture. So if you can give it, we are not in the Prema Bhakti stage, but if you can give us some regulations that at least we do the sadhana and somehow we get the mercy of Lord Gauranga in our life.
You follow his instruction. Krishna says, surrender to me. That same Krishna comes as Gauranga Mahaprabhu and says what? Yare deko tare koho Krishna upadesh ama agya guru hoya taro edesh. Wherever you go, whomever you meet, teach the science of Krishna. On my order. That's the same as Krishna saying, surrender to me. So first you give Krishna to yourself, and then you give Krishna to others, according to your capacity, your lifestyle, your ashram.
Thank you.
So this temple can give you an opportunity to help give Krishna to others. You have some service. In Pune, you have some opportunity. I know there's so many devotees there. Huh?
She just shifted here.
I just shifted here last month, so I'll get some service here.
Wonderful. That desire is Lord Chaitanya's mercy. I'll get some service.
Please bless.
Everyone, give her your blessings so that she gets some service here. But my point is that the desire you have to get some service, that is Gauranga's mercy on you. You don't even know that. Here you are, desiring, I've got to get some service. Where does that desire come from? And by acting on that desire, your appetite will grow and grow. I want more service, more service. Somehow or other, I need more service. According to your lifestyle, capacity, your situation, always something can be done. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the wonderful session. Maharaj, as you mentioned that it's the spontaneous love for Krishna that attracts me the most, and not the sadhana bhakti. But what I feel that, at least if I talk about myself, it's been years and years that I am struggling at sadhana level of bhakti only. So what hope do I have, or all of us have, and how can we also develop that spontaneous love in our heart for Lord Shri Krishna? Please.
The therapeutic stage leads to the relishing stage, but first you must take the therapy. And be aware of the full range of bhakti potentiality, which is not just devotional service under obligation. That's why Prabhupada gave us nectar of devotion. So you can see the whole picture. You can see what is up ahead on the road. And then you're inspired to go on with your therapy. You can't put a timetable to Krishna. Look, I've been chanting for 2 years now, 2 whole years, such a long time. Where are you, Krishna? Why haven't you shown up in my life? I say again, this attitude you have, I'm trying. You're trying, right? That's Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Do you think Krishna is so cruel and cold-hearted? You can try all you want, but you'll never get me. You think Krishna is just watching his devotees suffer and does not reciprocate? He has his own timetable. Our life is so short. What's wrong with struggling to achieve Krishna with this one short life? So we're grateful for the opportunity to struggle to please Krishna.
So does that mean, Maharaj, that we should only try to continue putting our efforts? Is that all you're trying to say?
We should value the fact that we have the opportunity to make such an effort. By Gauranga's mercy. This is what Gauranga means to you. You have an opportunity to try to make an effort for loving Krishna. What if someone says to you, I often give this example, friend or family member or whatever, says, I'm always trying to hear what you say. I'm trying to focus on what you want. I'm trying to listen to you. What would you think about that person?
Maybe he's not able to understand me.
Huh?
Maybe he's not able to understand me. He or she's not able to understand me.
But they're trying. What would you think? Someone, I'm trying to hear you. I'm trying to listen to you. I'm trying to understand you. What would you think about that person?
But at least he's trying his best to understand.
You would think that's a very nice person. Right? Everyone wants to be understood. And someone's trying to understand you. You'd appreciate. So my point is, Krishna is a person. He appreciates that you're trying. We have this notion, Krishna doesn't care. Oh, it's been so long. I've been chanting for 2 years. I've been doing sadhana for 10 years, such a long time. So many yugas I've been trying to please Krishna. We have those notions. Krishna doesn't have them. He's Bhakta Vatsala. Somehow or other, Krishna will always reciprocate with his devotee. But you can't force the situation your way. One thing I've noticed is we do not like to beg. Just like in India, anywhere in the world, beggars are considered to be very bad. You're driving on the street here and they stop at a stoplight and they come up to your car, what do you do? Or you don't even look at them. You ignore them. And they're knocking on the window sometimes and holding out their hand. And what do you do?
I also ignore Maharaj.
Yes, ignore them. So therefore, we don't want to be beggars. But that's part of the price for attaining Krishna, to be a beggar. You've never begged for anything in your life, right?
I did.
What have you begged for?
I beg for mercy only. I beg for mercy from Lord and His devotees.
Very good. You're starting to pay the price. But we don't like begging. Oh, Krishna, give it to me without begging. Krishna knows how to get the best out of us. Anything else?
Thank you very much.
After that, you give him the mic.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances and please bless me. Maharaj, thank you so much for this wonderful class. Maharaj, from very beginning I only heard that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead and the source of all avatars, and he is avatari of all the avatars. So rest incarnation are his avatars. But only for my mind is now difficult to fit that Mahaprabhu is not avatar but avatari himself. Although avatar and avatari are same, but how to fit in this my mind, because Mahaprabhu Swayam avatari. It is new. Are there any pastimes to understand this? For an example.
Do you read the books? You read Chaitanya Charitamrita, but first you have to read Bhagavatam, right? You want to understand Lord Chaitanya? You can read teachings of Lord Chaitanya. You have that desire to understand? Very good. That's Lord Chaitanya's mercy. The knowledge is there. You don't have to twist yourself. Just take the knowledge, read the books. You'll understand Lord Chaitanya. He wants you to understand him. He wants you to understand Krishna. Mahaprabhu is making it easy for you to understand Krishna. Otherwise, Krishna is very difficult to understand. You know, in India, so many false understandings of Krishna. He's the Hindu forest love god. He cheated on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So much nonsense. Prabhupada said that's one advantage about people in the West. When he came to America, he said, they're like a blank slate. You know what a blank slate is? They don't know anything. No concoctions, nothing true, nothing false. Just they know nothing about Krishna. So he could just write on the slate the real knowledge. Whereas in India, he had to battle so many misconceptions about Krishna. So that you want to understand Lord Chaitanya is a sign of Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Teachings of Lord Chaitanya is not part of the Bhakti Shastri program, is it? It's a very beautiful book. Who has read it? Raise your hands. Yes, it's amazing, so comprehensive and yet so concise. All right?
Yes, Maharaj. And please, Maharaj, bless me for my spiritual progress. I'm struggling with my sadhana. So please, Maharaj, bless me.
Associate with those who can empower you to do your sadhana. You know some persons like that?
Yes,
Excellent. Very good. We wish you the best.
thank you so much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj ji. Thank you very much for this nice class. My question is, apart from this class, if you can share some your realizations with Srila Prabhupada Maharaj, one or two realizations.
I find that most devotees these days don't understand how demanding it was to be with Srila Prabhupada. He didn't know how much time he had to be with us, so he was very demanding. While giving out the mercy, very demanding. He wanted to please his Guru Maharaj, and we were all his assistants in his efforts to please his Guru Maharaj, to follow the instructions of his Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he always expressed his gratitude while being very demanding. All right? I think today most devotees of this generation think Prabhupada is very soft and gentle. Very true. But he wanted what he wanted. All right. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for such wonderful session. We are so blessed to have you, Maharaj, and thank you for answering all the questions so patiently. Let's chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra for Maharaj. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram,